everybody. Welcome to this year's 2021 Bible Camp. I'm so glad that you guys are all here and hope you have a good time.
Welcome to Bible Camp. We're the sisters from Catalina House. Have fun and enjoy all the Bible stories.
Hi!
It's singing time.
Let's sing the Bible Camp song!
Hi Samuel, do you know we'll have Bible camp this summer again?
Wow, I love Bible camp.
Me too, I still remember the Bible camp song. A new day has dawned, the Bible camp is on. We are being trained to answer God's call. Amen. By obeying our parents, by believing God's words, we'll keep the way of the Lord.
A new day has dawned, the Bible camp is on. We're being trained to answer God's great call. Amen. By obeying our parents and believing in God's word, we will keep the way of the Lord. A new day has dawned, the Bible camp is on. We're being trained to answer God's great call. Amen. By obeying our parents and believing in God's word, we will keep the way of the Lord. A new day has dawned, the Bible camp is on. We're being trained to answer God's great call. Amen. By obeying our parents and believing in God's word, we will keep the way of the Lord. Amen. Let's sing a theme song.
By faith Abraham being called, obeyed to go out unto a place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith Abraham being called, obeyed to go out unto a place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith Abraham being called, obeyed to go out unto a place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out not knowing where he was going. At first he followed his father. They came to Haran, and there they would stay. 'Twas a first step in answering God's call, but he only had come halfway. By faith Abraham being called, obeyed to go out unto a place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went on not knowing where he was going. God came again unto Abraham, calling him to leave his country and kin. Now it was time for Abraham himself to directly respond unto him. By faith Abraham being called, obeyed to go out unto a place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went on not knowing where he was going. While we are young we must follow our parents and take in God's way. Then at once when God directly calls you, you will answer God's call in that day. By faith Abraham being called, obeyed to go out unto a place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went on not knowing where he was going.
Let's review some of our songs.
This next song shows how Abraham answered God's call by receiving God's promise, Isaac. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? No, there is nothing that's too hard for him. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? Not when we trust and believe into him. God promised Abraham a son, but he was getting old and had not yet won. So Sarah and he would try their own way. They just wouldn't wait. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? No, there is nothing that's too hard for him. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? Not when we trust and believe into him. Later the Lord same time next year, Sarah would have a son. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? No, there is nothing that's too hard for Him. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? Not when we trust and believe into Him. Though Abraham was 100 years old, God gave him the son of whom He foretold. He learned that whatever God says is true, and He will carry out. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? No, there is nothing that's too hard for Him. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? Not when we trust and believe into Him. We need to believe what God says is true. In so many ways He's speaking to you, through parents and those who really love God. He speaks through His Word. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? No, there is nothing that's too hard for Him. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? Not when we trust and believe into Him. Through this, Isaac would answer God's call by knowing God as the one who provides. Abraham was told by God to take his only son and offer him unto God as a burnt offering. Isaac would watch as Abraham obeyed. He learned from his father to take God's way. Isaac asked, Father dear, behold the fire and the wood is here, but where's the lamb that we must slay? Isaac would learn that God will provide the way. Abraham built up an altar to offer his son, and Isaac obeyed to be bound and be placed thereon. As Isaac watched while the knife was raised, the angel of the Lord showed them another way. Abraham offered Isaac according to plan, believing God. They both obeyed, so that God could provide in a special way. Abraham offered Isaac according to plan, believing God. They both obeyed, so that God could provide in a special way. So that God could provide in a special way.
Let's learn a new song.
This is the instructional video for Lesson 5, Isaac would answer God's call. So for the first 3 stanzas, we're going to do musical movement, and for the last stanza, we're going to do hand motions. So you're going to start from your left and go step, front, step, back, step, kick, step, front, step, back, step, kick, step, front, step, back, step, kick, step, front, step, back, step. And for the chorus, you're gonna go slide, stomp, stomp, slide, stomp, stomp, bend, turn, 2, 3, clap, clap, bend, turn, 2, 3, clap, clap. And for the last stanza, we'll go, you need to learn from the story of Isaac and Rebekah to trust your parents' wisdom as they put their hopes in God, and how you need to answer God's calling and believe His wisdom, just appreciate His care for you and receive what comes from Him. And how you need to answer God's calling and believe in His wisdom, just appreciate His care for you and receive what comes from Him.
So there are 3 kinds of move you can do for the first 3 stanzas. Abigail showed us the step cross move, which is step front, step back, step kick, and go back, step front, step back, step kick. The running move, which is run, 2, 3, 4, 5, kick. Run, 2, 3, 4, 5, kick. And I will show you this walking move, which is walk, 2, 3, 4, 5, kick. Walk, 2, 3, 4, 5, kick. We will see you in the sing-along.
Isaac would answer God's call by inheriting his promise. He inherited and received everything in thankfulness. After Isaac's mother Sarah died, he would need a wife to care for him. So he trusted in his father's wisdom and his faithful servant. Eliezer was charged to go back to Abraham's country and bring back a bride for Isaac, one to meet his deepest need. As Rebekah was so graciously giving him a drink with all the camels, he would worship God. He'd found the one. God's promise could be fulfilled. Isaac was waiting in the field and saw the camel train come. He would run to Eliezer, who spoke all that God had done. Isaac took Rebekah as his bride, and he would love her forever. This is how he would answer God's call, fully trusting in God's care. We need to learn from the story of Isaac and Rebekah to trust our parents' wisdom as they put their hope in God. How you need to answer God's calling by believing in His wisdom. Just appreciate His care for you and receive what comes from Him. How you need to answer God's calling by believing in His wisdom. Just appreciate His care for you and receive what comes from Him.
It is lesson time.
Hello, boys and girls. Hi, Bible campers. My name is Mrs. McCusker, and I am so excited today to tell you about one of my favorite stories in the entire Bible. And that story is of Isaac and Rebekah. So, you probably remember that Isaac is Abraham's son. And at this point, his mom, Sarah, Abraham's wife Sarah, had just passed away of old age, and Abraham was getting older too. Well, Abraham very much wanted to find a wife for his son Rebekah specifically from the country where Abraham was from, and that's not where they were living. So he called his servant Eliezer to him, and he told him to go to his country and to find a bride for Isaac. Eliezer, of course, agreed to do this for his master Abraham, but he asked, what if I get there and I find a bride, but she doesn't want to come with me? And remember, this is a long, long time ago. They didn't have FaceTime. They didn't even have pictures. He couldn't even show this woman a picture of Isaac on his phone or an actual photograph. So, of course, Eliezer was concerned that a woman wouldn't want to just come with him and come all the way back to marry somebody that she didn't know. But Abraham said he would trust in God and pray, and Eliezer would do the same. So Eliezer took his 10 camels laden with gifts for the new bride and her family and traveled to Abraham's country of origin. And when he got there, he prayed to God that God would show him the right bride for Isaac, and that he would find somebody who had a loving and generous spirit and who would offer him water from the well where he and his camels were resting, and also water for all of his camels too. Sure enough, Rebekah showed up, and immediately she offered to draw water for Eliezer and all of his camels. Eliezer was so happy. God had answered his prayer. He excitedly told Rebekah who he was. She ran home and told her family about Eliezer and about Isaac. They invited Eliezer to stay with them. They made room for him to stay at their home and for his camels to stay with them as well. And they offered him something to eat. Eliezer was so excited to tell them why he had come, and he relayed the information again that he was there to take Rebekah back to Abraham and Isaac and for Rebekah to marry Isaac. The family all agreed that this was an answer to prayer, and Rebekah said she would go with Eliezer right away, and they did. They traveled back to Isaac, and when they got there, Isaac was in a field, and he saw Rebekah. Eliezer introduced Isaac and Rebekah to each other, and they were married. Because they trusted in God and prayed to God, they were blessed with a marriage. So I love this story. I love the trust that Rebekah had for the trust in God and the trust in Eliezer, who was a servant of Abraham, who was God's chosen one. And I love that Isaac trusted his father as well to do what was right and to find him somebody who was right for him.
After Sarah died, Abraham helped his son, Isaac, to find a proper wife. Abraham charged his oldest servant to swear to the God of heaven and the God of earth that he would go to the land of Chaldea and take a wife for Isaac from among Abraham's relatives.
Put your hand on my thigh and swear by Jehovah, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you will take a wife for my son, not from the Canaanites, but from my relatives.
What if none of your relatives want to marry your son and follow me back to this land? Should I take your son over to their land?
No, you shall not take my son to their land. If they don't follow you, you shall be free from the oath of mine.
I swear to Jehovah, the God of earth and the God of heaven, that I will take a wife from your hometown for your son.
And the servant took 10 camels and set out to find Isaac's bride. When he reached Chaldea, he came to a well of water in the evening, where the woman came to draw water.
O Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today and show loving kindness to my master Abraham. I am standing here by the well today, and women are passing by, and please may be the one to whom I say, please let down your pitcher so that I may drink. May it be that woman who lets down her pitcher for me and my camels to drink.
Before he had finished speaking, a young woman named Rebekah, who happened to be the daughter of Abraham's nephew, came to the well with her jar on her shoulder. She was very beautiful and was not yet married.
Wait, please give me and my camels a little water to drink. Whose daughter are you? Please tell me if there's room in your father's house for us to stay.
I'm the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor. We have plenty of straw and fodder and a place to lodge.
Blessed be Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his loving kindness and his faithfulness toward my master. As for me, he has led me in the way to the house of my master's brothers.
Rebecca ran home to tell her family about these things.
Come in, O blessed of Jehovah. Why do you stand outside when I have prepared the house for the place of you and your camels?
Before eating dinner, Abraham's servant explained his reason for coming. He also told them how the Lord had answered his prayer at the well. Laban and Rebekah's father, Bethuel, then gave him permission to take Rebekah back to Canaan to be Isaac's wife. When the servant heard their words, he bowed himself to the ground before the Lord.
I will not eat until I have stated my business.
Speak on.
I am Abraham's servant, and Jehovah has blessed my master greatly with camels and donkeys and flocks, and with silver and gold. And Sarah, my master's wife, has borne him a son, and he has given all that he has to him. My master has made me swear, saying that I shall not take a wife for his son from the daughters of the Canaanites, but instead from the daughters from where he came.
The matter comes from Jehovah. We cannot speak to you, bad or good.
It seems this is from Jehovah, so you should take Rebekah to be the wife of your master's son.
Then the servant gave them many valuable gifts and spent the night there. The next day, as he prepared to take Rebekah back to Isaac, Laban and Bethuel asked him to stay with them another 10 days. But the servant insisted that he leave that very day with Rebekah.
Send me away to my master.
Let the girl stay with us for a few days, 10 or so. After that, she may go.
Do not delay me. Jehovah has made my journey prosperous. Send me away that I may return to my master.
Let us call the girl and ask her, will you go with this man?
I will go.
May you, our sister, become thousands of 10,000s, and may your seed possess the gate of those who hate them.
During this time, Isaac was meditating before the Lord in the field. He had lost his mother, did not yet have a wife, and was not sure if his servant would ever return. So he went out to the field to privately seek the Lord.
Who is this man coming into the field to meet us?
It is my master's son.
Isaac loved her very much, and he was then comforted after his mother's death.
Isaac would answer God's call by inheriting his promise. He inherited and received everything in thankfulness. After Isaac's mother Sarah died, he would need a wife to care for him. So he trusted in his father's wisdom and his faithful servant.
Sharing Yay!
Hi, I'm Hannah D. from Davis. I've been trying to be a cheerful and generous giver. First, when I get some money, I put a part of it into my cheerful giver box and donate it to the church. Next, I'm helping a new friend at school. She just came to America and doesn't know how to speak or understand English. Then, I welcomed a friend to my neighborhood by playing with her. Finally, I cook with my mom for church meetings. I like to be a cheerful and generous giver.
Hey, it's me, Jasper. Remember me? I'm from the church in Davis, and I would like to tell you what I learned from Isaac and Rebekah's story. What I learned from Isaac's lesson is that Isaac appreciates his father's Abraham's wisdom, and the servant Eliezer cared for me. For me, I appreciate that my parents supply me with everything I need physically. I'm also grateful that my parents also encouraged me to love God, trust God, and count God's blessings. I'm very happy to enjoy the Lord in Bible reading time, children's meeting, and Bible camp. What I learned from Rebecca's action is that she provided water to the servant and the camels. That shows she is generous, diligent, and unselfish. Because of that, she enjoyed all the inheritance that Isaac had. I would like to be a cheerful giver. I have a new friend, and his name is Francesco. His family moved from Miami, Florida to Davis, California. I invited him for play dates so he won't feel lonely. I also taught my friend Evan how to fish. I shared my snack with my friend Asher. I gave my books and clothes to my friend Zachary. This is what I learned from Isaac and Rebecca's story. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I would like to share my topic with you today. My topic is unselfish. That just means not being selfish. For instance, giving your friends food when you have candy or sandwiches or whatever kind of food you have, and not keeping it all for yourself. That's like being generous, which is the opposite of selfish. And selfish is like keeping all the candy when your friends ask you for some and you have a lot, or not sharing your toys. So not being selfish would be giving your toys to your friends and asking them nicely to be careful with it.
It's memory verse time.
Acts 2:39.
But to you is the promise, and to your children,
and to all who are far off, as many as the Lord our God calls to himself.
Bethany, did you have a great time at the Bible camp?
I sure did.
What's your favorite song?
While we are young, we must follow our parents and take in God's way. Then at once, when God directly calls you, you will answer God's call in that day.
But actually, there's just too many good choices.
Choices, we must all make choices. Big ones, small ones, choices every day. Choices, we must all make choices. Don't choose foolishly, but choose God's way.
Yeah, you're right. It's very hard to choose, huh?
Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? No, there is nothing that's too hard for Him. Is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? Not when we trust and believe into Him. How about this one? Abraham offered Isaac according to plan, believing God, they both obeyed, so that God could provide in a special way.
Don't forget about this one.
You need to answer God's calling by believing in His wisdom. Just appreciate His care for you and receive what comes from Him.
Oh, there's just too many good songs. I can't pick. I love them all.
What a wonderful Bible camp. Be sure to come back in the winter to learn more from the stories of Jacob and Joseph.
Enjoy the summer, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!
See you at the Winter Bible Camp.